shoot, sorry.
Do you need that in there?
Probably.
Maybe we can move it to that one over there because it's like.
Oh, yeah. Are you guys still working on the art puzzle?
No, we decided to. It's too hectic and we're competing with other brands, so we're working on
Are we ready?
the New York party.
Did you want to put a computer from that other
The
side?
venue is,
Yeah.
Wishy-washy.
yeah.
Ready?
Ready?
Yeah.
Alright guys, come on. Please have a seat anywhere with a piece of paper and a pen. Okay. Anywhere with a piece of paper and a pen. I need this down.
Oh, wow, like that.
Oh man.
Do I need to sound like a video release or anything?
You are being filmed. Here's another copy.
Yes.
Whoa.
No, we are.
Yeah.
That's happening. And
I keep smiling at it.
I think we're ready for something more.
What?
You know how Laura posted
Oh,
like
where did she find it?
in her booth?
How does she always do something? You can put it in something.
I told her I was like, you should get one of these.
To do anything other than what you're doing.
Well, she was going through the garbage looking for it, and I was like, what happens if you lose your ID? And everyone's like, it's $25. I'm like,
I'd rather just pay that than go through the garbage.
yeah. Scott Paul and I looked at each other. That was when like people were doing weird things in the Lucia Lounge yesterday around 5 p.m.
What's going on?
yeah, it sounds really sketchy.
Yeah. Like, I won't say who, but someone came up there
Yes.
and
Yeah. Alright.
Oh.
Probably terrible
That's a
vibes.
lot of things.
Because they're all like the
Thanks.
same price per pound.
Yeah.
I think something exploded.
Oh yeah, there's ink in here. That's why.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry for the inky pens.
Yeah.
It makes me feel better. I
Yeah,
have them on my
I just picked them up, so they were $4 for 20.
Oh, I do have hand sanitizer.
They don't make them like
Does that work?
I don't know.
I don't know if it matters,
That's
but
about right.
We'll find out.
you know
It's a
what?
student
I
budget.
feel like that's gonna.
Spread it.
Yeah.
Anyone else want to use this?
I'm okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you guys so much for coming. Myself, Emily, Megan, and Pat, we just want to welcome you and explain a little bit about what we're actually doing here so that you have a little bit of insight before we jump into some of the questions. So you guys have been handpicked for this focus group to help us out. We're working with a startup lifestyle brand called Out East, and it's known for its rosé. It was developed last spring and debuted last spring, and they're attempting to enter the non-alcoholic drink space right now. So with that delineated, we're going to ask you questions based off of product development, different sorts of ingredients that could be included in the non-alcoholic space, and then just overall non-alcoholic beverage behavior questions. So it'll be structured into 3 different sections, and we'll kind of go from there. 2 things also I just want to say, we'll be videotaping, we already are, so as long as everyone's cool with that, we can go forward.
Being sent to that for that.
You,
I'm just kidding.
your consent is your wine.
And your responses will be kept confidential.
Absolutely, yeah, so that's the other thing as well. So don't worry about anything that you say here. This is all, just basically for us to be able to understand kind of what people are thinking in terms of this space. So first we'll jump in to non-alcoholic beverage behavior. So this is basically everything encompassing, non-alcohol. So everything, yeah. So you guys have in front of you a piece of paper right now. So if you could go ahead and please write down the first 5 drinks that come to mind when you hear of non-alcoholic beverages. And those could be brands, they could be, but we'd want to focus on the actual type. Yes. And so while you guys are doing that, we're gonna. So there'll be a couple questions that are more just writing down related. Most of the stuff will be discussion based. So
Oh.
otherwise, we would just send this
I
over.
already wrote mine. I'm just curious. Last one.
You want to talk these?
It's the last one.
No.
Oh, I would have
Okay.
said for your first.
Kombucha is that what
Is
you? Well, that was my second.
I had to show an
I
idea.
feel like sometimes like put like 1%.
Yes,
Can you buy it? I think that's
not the ones that have the special label on it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Sometimes there's a label.
So has everyone written stuff down? Got it. Does anyone care to share what they actually wrote down and why they wrote it down?
Sure, I will.
Yeah, go for it.
So water, because I'm always drinking water.
Mhm.
Kombucha, because that's like my drink to treat myself. That's not alcohol.
Mhm.
And then I was just thinking about random things. I never drink apple juice, even though I wrote that down. And then I was like, oh, orange juice. And then I was like, think about what you actually drink. And so the fifth one was tea, which
Okay.
I will drink too. Yeah.
Did water drink 98% of the time. If I feel like something with actual taste, buy or vitamin water, so flavored waters.
Mhm.
Then next thing I thought of was soda because it's everywhere. I don't drink soda except for periodic ginger ale, which I guess counts as soda, so never mind. And sparkling water, like La Croix.
Okay.
Only recently started dabbling with it. It's decent, and then juice, which I also don't drink.
When you think of something like La Croix, are you thinking, and it comes to top of mind, are you thinking of like the flavors involved with it, or is it more of
Flavored sparkling.
flavored sparkling?
Yeah, so not just your generic seltzer,
Mm.
but it seems to be a rather recent boom in flavored
Yeah.
seltzers of sorts.
Anybody else? Go for it.
Yeah, I said water because it's like my go-to, I guess.
Yeah.
Said Diet Coke, like Diet Soda, but
Mhm.
really just Diet Coke there. Gatorade, type sports drinks kind of stuff. And I said coffee
Okay.
and juice.
I can go. For some reason, I was thinking of drinks, not water. I said soda first, even though I don't drink soda. I guess that was the first thing that came to mind. And then I just said coffee, tea, which I drink, and then juice and kombucha.
Any specific type of juice, or is there that you're like when you think of it?
I think I was just thinking any juice.
Mhm.
I don't really drink that much juice either,
Okay.
so but it's just something that came to mind.
Anybody else? Liz?
Yeah, I think the only thing that I had that wasn't mentioned was sparkling cider and like the fake non-alcoholic wine,
Okay.
champagne.
Did anyone say coffee?
I said coffee.
Okay.
I just said water and coffee. That's pretty much all I drink. And then soda, Gatorade, and energy drinks.
True.
Oh,
So would you guys say that like a lot of the stuff that you're choosing are your preferred drinks of choice? It sounds like you were talking about water, you're talking about coffee. Is there, besides I would say coffee and tea, water seems like the biggest preference. Is there anything else that you guys, when you were thinking through this process, that you said if there's a correlation between some sort of preference and what I think of when I think of these non-alcoholic beverages, besides water and coffee?
For me, I went down the line of what I drink the most.
Mhm.
So like the fifth one I listed was like, something I think of, but I don't drink it.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought of like the menu on the airplanes, what they give you for free. Non-alcoholic beverages. Yeah, exactly.
I also thought about like things that mix with alcoholic beverages.
Okay.
Soda,
Yeah,
Gatorade,
I've
energy
been
drinks.
doing that
Yeah.
too as well.
Is flavor, like in evaluating those choices, is flavor an important determinant for you?
I think so, yeah. I mean, it depends what the alcohol is. So, like, whatever you're mixing
Sure.
it with has to kind of agree with each
Mhm.
other.
I think for me at least, if it's water or coffee, I'm drinking it for a purpose. Like water is like my staple, coffee is for energy. But anything outside of that, I want it to be both healthy but taste good because
Okay.
it's going to be like a treat. Like I really don't drink pop at all.
Mhm.
It's just soda from Chicago. But like kombucha, like that's like my treat drink, and like I guess sparkling water is not bad for you either. So you like I would want that, but I would consider that to be like a treat for myself.
Gotcha. Great.
Yeah,
I,
which I do too often.
I expressly don't like things with much in the way of taste, which is why my second would be something like Bai or like the light vitamin waters. I don't like the resonant feeling of sugary beverages in my mouth. I don't like colored liquid touching my teeth.
Gotcha. It's bad for taking. Anybody else before we move on to the next question? Good. Cool. So we're thinking about pre and post workout right now. We're thinking because we're dealing with a lifestyle brand, we want to understand the multiple touch points in that lifestyle. Do you guys have specific drinks aside? I'm sure you've listed a few of them and you've been going through the exercise before, but are there specific drinks that you think of or that you use pre and post workout? Besides, there's
Definitely.
I take a pre-workout, which I guess would go against everything I just said again for the second time. But it's stevia, not sugar. But it's like, I guess there's caffeine and guarine, so akin to an energy drink. Pre-workout, post-workout. For breakfast, I do a shake based around oat milk every day. Other than that, water during and water on both sides.
Yeah, I do like a BCAA mix during and after my workout.
okay.
Or pre-workout, whenever I remember. Especially for hot yoga, 'cause it's like BCAAs and electrolytes. So like if I'm doing hot yoga,
I do like an electrolyte. I make my own drink,
Okay.
like with a powder.
Yep.
And then like back when I used to work out more, I would do like a protein shake or like chocolate milk after.
Seems like definitely like a consistency there. Yeah, for sure. When it comes to ingredients, are there certain ingredients or benefits that you look for when choosing a non-alcoholic beverage? So this kind of like takes away like the straight water piece and goes into some of the other drinks that we're thinking about and intertwines with a little bit of the pre and post workout and kind of what benefits you would get from those. Are you cognizant of those benefits? Do you know the names of the ingredients that you're thinking of, and if so, what are they?
Yeah, I think from like a pre-workout perspective, like the pre-workout I usually go for has like caffeine for like the energy, and then like creatine as well. And then it's probably like the main thing from like a benefits perspective. Otherwise, I'm probably just looking for like a low-calorie drink. Might have like a little flavor to it.
If I'm drinking something that I'm unfamiliar with, or I guess like anything other than like water and coffee, I read the label, and if I don't like know what words are, or if it seems like something random with like a bunch of additives, I don't drink it. Like I'm not interested in it then.
Sure.
I don't want anything that's like some of that. I don't use pre-workout, but some of that stuff I'm like, what is this even English? And so like, I'm just like, I'll drink water and then I'll be okay. I'll eat a cookie later.
I guess my main concern is always just the sugar amount. That's the first thing I look for.
Okay.
So water is my go-to. On occasion, I'll drink one of those Owen plant protein shakes afterwards, if it's necessary, and that's relatively low in sugar for the one serving size. But I'm always just mindful of the sugar.
Sure.
I think I'm very different from what everyone just said. Whatever's recommended to me via Instagram, via whatever social media, I'll take it. Can't die from this.
Are there, so kind of going on that topic, are there certain ones that come to mind to you that you've seen on Instagram and you kind of like take?
Okay, LaCroix is a big one, right? But it's not something that I would drink post workout because it just doesn't make me feel great after all the work that I did.
What
but
was
like
it?
LaCroix, but I would do the smoothies at like the gyms.
Okay.
Same.
Yeah.
Like if I'm at the gym and they have like a smoothie bar or something like that, I'm all for that.
Like,
I'm like,
yeah, like berry smoothies.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah. So in the past, though, are you distinguishing between what the different sort of additives or adaptogens are within those drinks, or is it something that you basically want to continue a healthy kind of like trajectory for the rest of the day? It doesn't really matter to you.
For me, no. It's just whatever makes me feel good. Like I don't want to do something super sugary, super heavy. But I'm not someone that will go and look at the thing and be like, oh, this has this and this is not going to be different. I'll just drink something based on that. very heuristic purchase decision.
Okay. Well.
I make mine myself, so everything in it serves a purpose. Oat milk is a base, so it's not based on water. There's plant protein, because I can't do whey protein. Oats to give it some substance and carbohydrate to last.
Yeah.
And then bananas, because thickens.
Yeah.
I don't do any of this.
So I guess broadening the scope a little bit, because we did kind of just go and talk about pre and post workout. Are you guys cognizant of what's going on in non-alcoholic drinks in terms of ingredients outside the scope of a workout? Is that something that you guys are looking at? Is it any different?
Yeah.
Than it is. Okay.
Yeah. I'll look at ingredients in everything.
Mm-hmm.
I just tend to, if I can read the ingredients, even if they're not like great, but I at least know what they are. Like I know sugar is going to be in food I eat and drinks that I have,
Mm-hmm.
but if it's like the 6 different types of fake sugar, I don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather have like the thing with the real sugar in it.
I usually avoid anything with sugar in it,
Mm-hmm.
like sodas or that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I usually drink things with caffeine in it.
Okay. That's the coffee.
Yeah, coffee.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And then just wrapping up the non-alcoholic beverage behavior question, wanted to get a sense from you guys, whether it's pre or post workout or it's just in general, what's the most that you've paid for in the past on a non-alcoholic premium beverage range, if you can't pinpoint exactly, or what your
Mostly paid
willingness
for?
to pay would be.
Are we talking like a smoothie kind of
Yeah.
thing, like it's made like right there, or like a bottled beverage?
So if you have both, that'd be great, because I think we're kind of like looking in both spheres. But I would say first, the bottled portion.
Probably bottle like $3 for a Gatorade or something.
Okay.
I've paid like $10 for juice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
Which
probably
is stupid.
I've probably gone into the double digits for a smoothie.
Yeah,
Yes.
like
Smoothie,
$12
sky's the
for a
limit.
smoothie. I would, and like now that everyone's talking about pre and post workout drinks, if there was like an easy one for me to have that was like healthy and like I would drink that, but I like you guys are making your own. I would pay like maybe like $8 for that. That would be like my top.
Yeah, like I've paid like probably $12 or $13 for a smoothie, but
right.
and I would do it more if it weren't that much.
Right.
I think for like tinctures and mix-ins, I'd be like up to $50 or $60 if I knew it was gonna last for like 30 or plus beverages.
Oh.
Not just for one.
Whoa.
Not for one, but like
Getting your
something like
juices. Oh man.
like a mix-in. Yeah.
Great.
I think I would pay like 8 or 9, but if it's a drink that's part of experience, like at the gym already, and I'm already spending whatever per class, I would go higher because some cost at that point.
Yeah, sure. Cool. Awesome. All right, we'll move on to the next portion.
Cool.
Into product development.
So, actually, you take one and pass it around. And so these are just, we want to get an idea of like preference of bottle shape when you're drinking something non-alcoholic, if you have one. So just take a look at the page in front of you. And if you could rank your top 3 in preference, just from kind of like feel and like ease of carrying, that kind of thing, like looking from those kind of aspects. And if you really don't care, if you're like, I could give less of a crap, you could write that, and that's a totally legitimate answer. But yeah, if you do care, even just a little bit, you just rank your top 3.
Is this like not regardless of material?
Regardless of material, we're going to talk about material later. So just really
It's
just
not
shape,
Coke, it's just
And then regardless of
But,
like,
is
it doesn't
glass or plastic.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
just we'll talk about that later. It's just more
Okay.
shape based. So don't think about the contents of what's in the picture, and don't think about the material either.
Supposed to rank them or just pick the 3?
Rank them in your order of preference. you feel like you had enough time? Okay, cool. So does anybody want to share their preferences and why a little bit?
Yeah. Curvy and soft is my first. Long with neck is second. And round or elongated is third. And for me, what you're just talking, I don't like anything that has like a wide hole for drinking because I usually end up spilling it on myself. So like as contained as possible. Yeah.
Cool.
I'm the opposite. I like it. I like the wide hole. Drink it faster.
The caffeine.
Even if it's like not water, if it's something else that you might want to like sip a little slower, would you feel the same way or?
I probably would feel differently if it wasn't water. Like this thing has
Right.
like the big hole, and that's why I like it. But if it's like soda, I would prefer something smaller. Or if it was, I guess, we're not talking about beer. But beer, I would like the smaller.
Shotgunning Red Bull cans.
Yeah.
I was similar to you. I'm sorry, Liz. I was similar to Liz. I don't like cans because you can't close them. So that's just like a whole mess, and you have to like keep track. And I like Fiji water a lot, but it's square, so it doesn't fit in cup holders, and I think that's annoying. And then this like Coca-Cola bottle just reminds me of soda, so that like automatically just signals to me like, don't drink this. Yeah.
Beware.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I have like the exact same opinion.
Yeah.
So is that same opinion about the gripping, like soda shape? That
When
kind
I
of
see
resonated?
that shape, the curve for grip, I think soda.
Mhm.
I don't like cans that pop open, and the square shape of Fiji. Even though I like the water, it's super inconvenient. It's unique but inconvenient. And then I like sort of all the tall ones, all the round, elongated, and long, wide, curvy, soft.
And those can fit in like weird places, like in your backpack and stuff like that.
See, that's why I don't mind the curved for grip because it's like a standard size.
I
that
like
don't
the
have
curved
to.
for grip, yeah.
I don't have to worry about what bag I'm using. I know it's going to fit.
But for the two of you who prefer the curved, do you think that if you saw something that wasn't soda in it, there would be like a disconnect, or I mean,
Something like
you
I
would
think
anticipate?
so.
Okay.
I think just for me, like I chose like the curvy soft one. Maybe I'm a little biased because I have that exact bottle here right now. The rounded, elongated, and the curve for grip, just based on like I think some of these points have already been made, like making it something you can reseal, and then something that's just like easy to like hold and drink without like a wide mouth to it. Like the Fiji ones are just so hard to drink from. It's a challenge.
Everyday struggle.
Yeah.
Similarly, I get a visceral response from the curve for grip from virtually everything in it. I'm just assuming has every single of the worst ingredients you could ask for because it seems like an antiquated design that we've dealt with since the 80s. If we're having anything with grip, I'm actually a big fan of everything Poland Spring's done with their redesign because it has the same effect, but it looks unique and different and less cheap despite it being water. And I don't like the long and wide. I think it's a stupid design, and I associate it with Voss, but with the unnecessary glass bottle,
Mm-hmm.
even though we're not talking about that.
They have a plastic one also.
Yeah. They realize
I do get what you're saying though. Like sometimes I look at bottles and I'm like, this is so wasteful.
Yeah.
And like I'm pretty cognizant about recycling and things like that, but like I see people throw that all out all the time and I'm like, don't do that. Like, recycle it. And like my boyfriend, he left this morning and I go to throw something out. There was like 3 water bottles in the trash and I was like, there was recycling right next to it. And I'm like picking them out, but so like I don't like waste.
Fair enough, yeah. And then, so I guess also talking about if we're on the subject of like how like large your non-alcoholic beverage would be, if we're talking about something that's not flat water, do you guys have a preference? Like if it were 8 ounce, 12 ounce, bigger, 16, you know, that kind of thing. And does that size, I guess, match with like an occasion, so like post gym or like that kind of thing. But we'll start with size and take it from there. Does anybody have a preference? Like I prefer.
I feel like 16 is a good size.
Mm-hmm.
Because like smaller than that, I feel like I'm still thirsty afterwards.
This is 20 fluid ounce for reference.
Never mind, I'm a 20 guy.
I guess I'm a 20 gal.
I guess
might
it
be
depends.
Smaller.
Yeah.
I think 20.
I think it depends on
Yes.
What
the
it
drink
is.
is.
Yeah.
Like if it's something that's watery based, I would go for something this or
Yeah.
this size. But if it's more sweet, more flavorful, then I don't want something this big.
Yeah.
And like the Odwalla, or those
Yeah.
juices, like if that came in this size, I think I'd probably throw up.
Yeah.
Consistency in the
Yeah.
would not work in that large of a.
Right.
Probably the same with Red Bull.
It's like a thick, substance. Like, don't need a lot.
Yeah, the only time I ever really buy big bottles of anything is water.
Yeah, I guess that's
And like
true.
feel good about it.
Even like a healthy juice, I feel like I wouldn't need such a large.
Yeah.
Unless this is something that I'm gonna pour into a small cup
Mhm.
that you sell it at the grocery store. As
Right, yeah,
something
yeah,
you put it in your fridge.
Yeah.
Right. Something that you can have for several days or something like that, but a single use.
If I buy a half gallon.
Got it. Okay, cool.
It's not a single
Only on special
beverage.
occasions.
A gallon of milk.
Is there like a milk challenge?
Yeah.
Chug a
Yeah.
gallon of milk and then makes you vomit.
That's bad for you.
Too much calcium.
Another workout, if you will.
And
Internal.
is there any other occasion in which, let's say, something that's like not directly for your like fridge, but that you're pouring in something else, but any other occasion which you're like, I'd actually rather have something that's more than this like honest tea size beverage?
I buy water in gallon forms.
What's that?
I buy water in gallon
Yeah,
forms.
right.
Same with
Gotcha.
like I wish sparkling water came in a gallon form because I can't drink flat water like a true psycho. So yeah, if there was like a gallon of sparkling water, I would buy that every day.
Can I just ask you a little bit more about why you don't like flat water, or like what about sparkling water so appealing to
I
you?
don't know. So
Bubbles are just so
I have like a
luxurious.
soda stream at home, so like when I like am not too lazy, I'll bring like 2 of the full soda stream things into school and drink those. But like flat water, but like I don't know, flat water like kind of makes me feel sick. Or like sparkling water, I don't know, goes down easy, I guess. And I've heard some rumor that like the bubbles can be like activating for energy, and I'm like always tired, so maybe it's like a
Psychological
Okay.
thing.
placebo effect. But yeah,
I have the same thing.
So someone
Yeah.
told you to
But
get you to drink.
it's because I drink so much soda growing up,
Yeah.
and I don't want to drink soda anymore, so I drink carbonated beverages because
Yeah.
it has the same feeling without as much sugar.
Makes sense.
I like don't
I just
get
like the
flavor.
bubbles.
Yeah, you like the bubbles more
Yes.
than like a flat
Yeah.
beverage.
Oh yeah. I mean, not every beverage should be carbonated, obviously. But like, I really like carbonated beverages. Like when I was working this past summer, we got free LaCroix, and I literally, instead of drinking water, I drank like 8 cans of that today.
Mhm.
I was like kind of embarrassed by myself.
I hate
I think
bubbles.
the LaCroix cans are too small, I think.
Mm,
Okay,
I would like
for what
those
it
bigger.
is.
Yeah.
yeah,
Because it's not like super sugary or anything, so you can drink a lot of it.
like 8 cans or something.
Yeah, like 8 cans a day.
That's
Give or take.
insane.
Swear to God.
I think the only thing I would want to be bigger would be like a smoothie at Barry's or at the gym that I'm paying a lot of money for because then I'm like
But is that more price?
You want more like bang for your buck.
Yeah.
That's true.
I would pay more for it if they had bigger. I would just be like yes.
For home consumption, like I buy a lot of Honest Tea, but when I drink it at home, I get like big bottles from Whole Foods or whatever, and I'll like pour into a glass at home.
Does actually anybody have any more? I was actually pretty interested in how many people felt really strongly about bubbles. Is there anybody who like missed out on contributing what they felt about like carbonated versus flat?
I'll say
beverages?
I really hate bubbles.
Compare,
Oh
I'm
really?
flat. I'm
Yeah.
just not
You
person.
can't do it. Any like specific thing that like happens when you drink something bubbly, or is it just like?
I mean, I guess I get burpy. I guess that's something that happens. But that's not why I dislike it. It's like too much in my out. I don't know.
I also think for me it's something cultural. Like I didn't grow up drinking that, so none of my parents like it. My grandparents don't like it.
That
so
might be it. Yeah.
Like I think that it's not something that. I think that food preference in water, food, it has a lot to do with what you're used to, and that's not something that like my mom never gave me to drink this. Drink hot water. I'm like, oh no.
I guess to touch on the opposite, my family was like obsessed with soda and like would drink a ton of it. Both my parents were like big Diet Coke drinkers, so that's kind of where it comes from for me.
Mm-hmm. Just familiarity.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I drink flat water as just like a base. This is what I'm constantly hydrating with, but I'll do the bubbly stuff if I'm doing it as like a treat to myself. So that's like I associate like bubbly water with like a flavor, like Croix or something like that. But I wouldn't just drink bubble water without a flavor.
You wouldn't like crush like 8 cans of LaCroix.
No.
Okay.
We're different.
I would.
I really like
I would drink the plain seltzer.
Yeah. See, and I'm like,
like
not
it.
a plain seltzer.
It has a different flavor. I feel like.
Yeah, I would.
What about that pamplemousse?
Just
Just
plain.
But just sparkling water with no flavor has I feel like tastes different than flat water.
Yeah, better.
It does.
When they tell you when you're little to drink so much water, it always felt like such a chore. And seltzer
like,
wasn't
it's fun.
the same as water, so like a flavored seltzer, sugar or not. It's like, oh, I can drink all of this. This is fun, and it's the same as water. It's just as carbonation.
And then in terms of seltzer or flavored sparkling or just a sparkling beverage, do you guys, is there like a strong preference? I know I heard some of you say you like plain, some of you like say you like flavored. Does anybody want to speak to that, like that preference or?
Yeah, I really like plain. I think so. Even when I work out, I mix the BCAAs with sparkling water instead of flat water. So I do mix things in if it has like a purpose. But otherwise, I like just plain.
Mm-hmm.
But like for a while, like the kicker, I was drinking like chlorophyll as a natural deodorant, and I would put that in sparkling water.
A little bit of an aside, but I like sparkling things as a vehicle for something else. So I would just put water in a soda stream and put vodka in that.
Yeah, I was thinking I do vodka soda is like, yeah.
Uh-huh.
But I wouldn't just put vodka in a glass of water and drink that.
Yes.
It's essentially the same thing,
Yeah.
just with carbonation. Like I like, if I have a cold, I'll do Alka-Seltzer Cold and Flu, which is fizzy and it just has a medicinal taste, but I don't mind it because it's the vehicle for it. And I got La Croix to put the CBD Tinacure in just because I didn't want to put it in water.
Okay. Thank you guys very much. Just
This is fun.
Really revealing about ourselves.
when you're looking in your like in the beverage aisle of bodega supermarket, what is there anything that like really like would influence you to make a new purchase or to go outside your kind of your like comfort zone, or what you usually like would reach for in terms of like the coloration, the illustration, like how much of that is important to you, like the visual when choosing something new?
I think it's important.
Yeah.
Extremely
if the beverage
important.
itself is colorful, then I'm probably not going to buy it because to me that says that it's full of like.
But then you buy
artificial
a
stuff.
bra, and that's colorful.
What's
Colorful can.
The liquid itself. Like if the can's colorful, that's
Just
fine.
the
But
brand-
like,
the
when-
branding.
Yeah, like when vitamin water is like bright red, I'm like, this isn't naturally colored bright red.
I agree with that. I also am much more inclined to drink something if I'm with someone who's like, oh, this is good, and like can recommend that to me. Or if like I'm in Trader Joe's, I feel pretty good about what they have like stocked in the shelves. So like I'm more inclined to try something new in a Trader Joe's than I would be at like a regular supermarket where I know that they have a variety of things, both healthy and not. Not saying that Trader Joe's doesn't do that as well, but it's more curated.
Right. And then final question in my my section, in terms of when you're choosing non-alcoholic beverage, is there preference in material, i.e. aluminum, plastic, glass, wax cardboard, that kind of thing? Is there something that you guys feel really strongly about organs?
I really hate aluminum.
Mm.
And I would always gravitate towards something more, hopefully, like compostable. Although, I don't know, because those like boxed waters, I really
those are
don't
really
like
good.
drinking either. Yeah, so I don't know what's like glass. I actually like because I feel like that's more reusable.
Yeah.
But it's like a little heavier, so then I'm like, I want to carry this.
Yeah.
Feel
I'm
be
not a
touched.
fan of aluminum. That like to me signals pop soda. So I just would. It's just like a trigger. Not saying I wouldn't do it, but it would take someone being like, "Oh, this is good," rather than me being like, "Oh, what is this?"
Plastic is the only thing you can really move around with. You can't get in somewhere, like not just a bar, but you can't get in anywhere with a glass bottle or an open can. You can actually get in places with plastic bottles if they're empty or those guys, but I don't think you buy those every time you go somewhere.
Yeah. I feel like the resealable aspect that we touched on earlier is like something that's pretty important in terms of like if I'm buying a beverage, I know I'm not going to drink like immediately all at once.
My only problem with plastic is like the idea that something from the plastic might be seeping into my drink. Therefore, I prefer glass, except it breaks. How real that is, I don't really know, but I've been told it's a real thing, so.
I like the really strong plastics, like Snapple has like a really, it's not the glass bottle, but there's a bottle that like holds its shape really well. But some water bottles, like you go to drink it and like you crush it.
Yeah.
I like that one. I don't like
that one is weak.
Mine
is a
but the
bolt from
Alpala
Amazon.
water
I get this.
Those are-
that's a pretty good plastic.
That's a
It's easier to recycle when you can crush them, though,
Right.
because you can fit more in the recycling.
Does like the temperature of the drink affect like what choice of material you want? So if like you want something to be kept cold for longer, would you choose a different packaging material?
I don't think I'm smart enough to know the differences.
I prefer room temperature everything.
I like
things cold. Yeah.
I like cold.
But I think when I'm buying stuff, it's already cold,
Yeah.
so I'm like, oh, this
I guess-
is fine. And
I'm trying to think when I buy it when it would be hot. Like it's not a coffee or a tea.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the difference is, well, though sometimes the like almond milks are in cardboard, like, and you don't need to put it in the fridge, right? I guess
At the grocery store.
yeah, until you use
Well, I buy
yeah, until you
it's like
if it's gonna be portable, I wouldn't buy cardboard. But if it's going in the fridge, then sure. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
right.
Like milk and stuff.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm much more likely to buy like a cardboard or I guess even like aluminum if it's going in my fridge than if I'm just carrying it around. Because like at home I can put something down versus like if you're walking around with it, you really want to be able to seal it.
Thank you guys. Now Megan's gonna take over the
Maybe.
next.
Okay, back to your piece of paper. If you guys could please write down the first 5 things that come to mind when you hear the word CBD. It's okay, just as many.
I get it. Right? What'd you say?
Okay, is everybody done? Right, would some people be willing to share what they wrote? You don't have to say all of them, but a few of them.
Sure. Weed, oil, hemp, calm, drink.
I said relaxation, weed, calm, coffee, natural.
I said marijuana, California, fake medicine, Chill and infused.
Fake medicine.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how you
I just put a bunch of synonyms for chill out.
Said weed, medicinal, herbal, trendy, and pain, as in like a cure for pain. Painless, pain-free.
I'm feeling pain.
Where's my CBD?
I think mine were all said, but I said chill, weed, sleep, relax, and oil.
The same thing as this side of the table, just with the word hippies.
Mine were actually I wrote marijuana, pharmaceutical, because I know I've worked in pharmaceuticals and I know there's a lot of testing with that going on right now. I wrote healthy-ish, and then interesting.
Okay, good. Does anyone actually know what CBD is?
It's the other compound. It's THC and CBD are the compounds, right, that you can take out of marijuana plant.
Right. And so CBD it doesn't make people feel stoned, which that is the THC component. Just to clarify, so everybody knows. And so, in your mind, though, is there a distinction between the CBD and the THC, or did you guys kind of lump those together?
I know that they're different.
Yeah.
So when you smoke weed, you're getting the effects of smoking CBD and THC?
Most weed doesn't have much, like you smoke, doesn't have much CBD in it 'cause it's bred to maximize THC, which minimizes the CBD.
So it depends on the strand.
Yeah, I think if you would have asked me that, like, even like 2-3 years ago, I would have not had a distinction. But now, as they're doing more research on it, it's becoming more commonplace. We know more about it, so I do know now. Personally, a fan of both. I like marijuana.
Can you get a clip of that for later?
Okay. So next question. Have any of you ever tried CBD or hemp oil or extracts or any other form?
I just put it in my shake this morning.
Oh, nice.
There's like CBD infused in some beauty products, and I tried it. Didn't feel it.
Same. I've tried it in a lotion, like a body lotion, and I'm not sure it was helpful.
I tried it in body lotion, and actually made my eye like wiped out, and my knee was covered in a bruise, and it like actually relieved a lot of pain in my knee for like an hour or so after that.
It caused
Yeah. It like helped heal my wipe out injuries. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I don't, to be honest, I don't think I have, like specifically like chosen a product with like CBD in it.
The kind that you put in your shake, what kind?
It's in oil form or tincture. I think it was not oil based, but it comes in like a 500 milligram thing with the dropper.
Okay.
And I picked that one just Googling.
Yeah, I haven't tried Cat Beauties, but I've heard a lot of really good things about Cat Beauty's CBD oil.
Cat Beauty?
Cat Beauty, it's over in West Village.
Cat.
Cat, C-A-P.
Oh, Cat.
They have all natural beauty products, but they just release their own CBD oil.
Oh, that shit's gonna be ridiculously expensive. There's a place right by me, and it was for a thing that big was like $30.
Yeah, it's like
How long is
sizable.
That thing, it probably evaporates when you open it.
Aside from the adjectives that we shared before, were there any that like you could use to describe how you feel after you take CBD, like in your shake?
It's relaxing.
Just relaxing.
Yeah. More than anything else, I also put it in my Le Croix last night, and I slept like a baby.
I should do that. So.
And you said that it just helped with healing.
Yeah, it was it kind of had like this weird like cooling sensation. So I don't know, maybe something else in the ointment, but it was awesome.
For those in the room that haven't tried CBD, would you be interested in trying it? Like, why or why not?
be interested in trying it for sleeping purposes like before I went to bed.
Same.
Yeah, if there's literally anything that can relieve anxiety, I'm real hyped about it.
I would try it. I just have it. Yeah, but there's the coffee shop right under my apartment has a sign every day that says CBD coffee, and every day I'm like, I should try that. And I don't know why.
Today's the day.
Yeah, I think given the changes in the healthcare and pharmaceutical industry, I think there's a lot of positive implications for it. So I'm all for it if it can help alleviate anxiety and other medical conditions that some of these other drugs do in a more harmful way. So
there just needs to be a process of breaking the stigma, because currently the only place by me that advertises it is Cloud 99 Vapes, in between 3 giant jewel signs. So if it's done up with a classier and more professional image, I think it's quite easy to break that stigma. But at the moment, it's just bubbling mainstream, so I think it's going to take a little bit of a period to readjust the mass population.
And we're in New York too, which is very forward thinking as compared to out everywhere else.
There was a really cool pop-up shop at By Chloe. I don't know if you guys went a few weeks ago, where they turned the Sweets by Chloe into an entire they made their regular desserts but all with CBD oil.
Oh.
And it was
And
really
you still
cool.
didn't get it.
I know. I went inside and there was way too many, and I was like, I can't take any at once, so I just left.
So sad.
I want that large cake.
Yeah, and I saw something
Then you
in
went home.
Williamsburg too, and they always have a sign that's super cute. It's we have CBD this, we have CBD. It's a chalkboard sign they decorate it. It's very nice.
I think from my perspective, I just am not educated on it very well, so I wouldn't know if I went to go buy some CBD stuff, I don't know what it would be, or, when I would want to take it, kind of thing. I've heard people do it to relax, or I know someone who uses it for migraines, but I don't get really that anxious, and I don't get migraines, so those aren't good use cases for me.
Yeah. So
It's
it
hard
just
to figure
seems
it out.
for your first time, I want it to be for a reason, and I'm never I really could.
Want it to be special.
My first time to be special.
I'm gonna be taken out to dinner.
Well, I think that's part of the stigma. It needs to be an ingredient like caffeine and not something where you take it.
That's a good point. Yeah. I mean, and I smoke weed all the time, so I'm I need to smoke weed. But like I said, I think the implications for it in terms of the healthcare space are amazing. So.
I think also going off what David said, the last thing I put in describe things that come out of CBD is the male stoner culture that's pretty exclusionary to women. So that's why I thought Cat Beauty is so cool. Is it's founded by women. It's for women. And Milk Beauty has rolling papers that are also blotting papers. So it's kind of I don't know. A lot of that stuff goes into this exclusionary male culture. So
It's exclusionary, or women just have ambition.
Nice.
Wait, blotting papers that are gold, but then you would only be able to use it for one.
Yeah,
anyway.
your purse.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Or could you blot then smoke? No, that's gross.
Please don't.
I was afraid to try CBD or something like that.
Smoke my own face oils.
It's amazing that you went in there and looked around at everything. I can't handle it.
I spent 5 minutes.
You wanted the cake that would be your meal for a week. Instead, just left.
Marijuana cake, please.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Any other final thoughts on CBD?
Do you have
How do you take it? You do it in a drink, or you smoke it? It's a pill. So how do most people take it?
It can be extracted via oil, or you can do.
What do I do?
What's it called when you do carbon dioxide? You can pump carbon dioxide through it and it separates. You take it in a dropper form,
cooking oil or put like a dropper on my tongue.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You can also do that, like bake it into things.
Or like mix it into like a smoothie or whatever.
And it tastes like nothing. It's just like oily consistency.
I might try it now though on Friday.
Should we go get coffee?
Yeah, Sunshine Cafe. Is that what it's called?
Oh, Summers.
Oh, Summers. Summer Sunshine.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for your help. I think that was really an awesome session. Unless anybody has any like final like comments or wants to throw out something.
Give them A's.
Thank you.
Rachel loves marijuana.
I love the camera.
We got some good clips from you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we appreciate your guys' time. We're probably just going to collect a piece of paper just so we have them for
We'll take those from you guys.
There you go. Super sophisticated.
Yeah.
We'll try to
Yeah,
beat
you're gonna have video clips of me just like licking my
I know. So I guess we'll just
There you go. This is my pen.
I know, I'm hungry too.
always hungry.
Yeah.
So like,
Your
Do
hard work.
you guys want some of this? It's like such a delicious cookie.
Wow, you're giving it away?
I mean,
you guys want
I had some already.
I'll take a bite, yeah.
If you want to try. Oh, and there's
Thank you,
there's
guys.
a bit of a soda stuck on
Oh
there.
my gosh.
Ooh, amazing.
I have it.
I didn't know you had it with you.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, thank you so
way.
much.
thank you.
Girls' night.
thank
Yes.
you.
This is amazing.
Percy Bob.
Wait, these are nice.
Interesting line
Joy?
on CBD that already.
Thanks, Leslie.
Yeah.
You know
It's
what?
good, huh?
I think
Really good.
Russell-
We each have a photo.
I'll take Russell.
Oh yeah, Russell left.
Is there an alcoholic beverage with CBD?
Oh.
Do you have class with them?